All right, so let's go to Ohio State. Thoughts on the Brian Hartline, offensive coordinator hire. He was already there, so he was in house, but they elevated him.
Yeah, I think it's only right. You come from the NFL to being a I don't know what they like an offensive analyst, which is basically you don't call any plays for sure.
Right.
You don't even give input on plays, but you kind of just you're an analyst. You analyze. Hey, so and so's been whatever. Like we need to get his whatever. Like it's not a crazy job, but straight out of the NFL to that, and then he goes straight to wide receiver coach, which I mean I could name. I'm not even going to sit here all day and name receivers that he's produced, but he's got a nice lengthy list of nice ass receivers he's produced. And then he gets the passing game coordinator, wide receiver coach, and in just 4 years he's now OC.
Yeah,
like it's only right. I mean, if you give a guy a good bit of responsibility, wide receiver coach at a top 5 university, and he shines, which again he overshined, keep going. Let's see where he stops here.
Yeah.
Because it was only right. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he just kind of got it because that's not what I mean. I don't mean it had to be him. I mean it's only right because he earned the shit out of it.
Yeah.
This is an A+ for me. He's been insane. Yeah. He's been insane. And to clarify too, I don't think the offense is going to change much. They're aired out air raid type of offense because they have insane receivers.
Yeah.
Well, he's still the receivers coach. He's still going to want to see his guys get involved. That's going to be the offense next year. It's going to be the exact same offense.
Yeah. So this is, to me, and this is a crazy statement because I do not think Ryan Day is on the hot seat. So let me preface what I'm about to say with that. Ryan Day is not on the hot seat.
Right.
He was a game away from the national championship. If they make a field goal as time expires, they probably win the national championship.
Yeah.
So look, I don't think he's on the hot seat, but on the flip side of that token, Ohio State has been performing below the standard of what Ohio State is.
Right.
They've lost their division matchup the last 2 years. They did not compete, so obviously they didn't win in the Big Ten championship.
Either of the last 2 years.
Yeah. While their division opponent has been in the playoffs the last 2 years. Ohio State did make it this year. But look, Ryan Day has been unable. He has been unable to win the big games. He got to the playoffs in year 1, lost it to Clemson after being up 15 points.
Yeah.
So he's been unable to win the big game. That's kind of been the big criticism of Ryan Day. So to give, to put the play calling in the hands of the guy who's been producing these wide receivers, to me, is a smart move. It's a little bit of a protection against himself.
Right.
But that does not excuse the past, and they need to go out there and honestly, to me, for Ryan Day to be solidified as an elite coach in the sport, he's got to beat Michigan. And he has to compete and win the Big Ten, in my opinion. I
agree, and it's so tough with that conference and specifically that division. There's 2 big games. We talked about it with Penn State, right? Or at least right now. That could change. Maybe Iowa's gonna be back. I don't know, but for now, there's 2 big games. You drop the Penn State game, which they didn't this year. They beat them okay, not super handily. You drop the Michigan game, you're screwed. Mm-hmm. Because you're not going to compete for a national championship because the odds are, and what has rung true basically every year, one of those teams is going to sweep. Mm-hmm. So if Penn State wins both of them, they're going to be undefeated. If Michigan wins both of them, they're going to be undefeated. That's what we saw this year. Mm-hmm. So you got to win both of those games. I mean, if you can't do that, I mean, that's how it is.
Yeah.
It's just like, in the SEC, hey, you got to beat Bama.
Yeah.
If you don't beat Bama, you better win every single one of your other games.
And Georgia is where it's coming to now.
Exactly, and exactly. So, I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, it sucks because he's going 11-1 every year. How's he? Why are y'all mad? He's so good. We win. What is that? Over 90% of our games. It doesn't matter. I mean, it can matter because obviously you still make the playoffs this year. But this is a real odd year as far as that's concerned.
Yeah.
Bama had an off year. You have a couple of teams that barely missed. That's not going to cut it going forward. I will say this too, and I agree with what you said. It was again a natural, and I say natural because it was an inside hire. Mm-hmm. We have a guy that's doing really big things in our offense. We have an offensive coordinator position open. Elevate. Mm-hmm. Natural. But again, he earned the crap out of it.
Yeah.
But I do want to touch on the point you said, it kind of saved him.
Yeah.
Because everyone and their mother who loves Ohio State loves Brian Hartline.
Yeah.
He played there. he's been like I said, he's produced some of the greatest receivers in the world right now. Everybody loves him. That was a massive. That was big for him. I agree. I didn't even look at it that way. But that elevation for him was big.
Yeah.
Because if you go higher, dude, if they hire Bobby Petrino, everyone and their mother hates Ryan Day. After an 11-1 year, or 11-2, I guess, losing to Georgia again on a last-second field goal. Those are some fans you need to appease, especially after this year, especially when you have fans calling for your head whenever you're 11-2 in the playoffs. That was big. That was big for him.
Yeah. And look, Ohio State and Michigan is one of the biggest rivalry. It may be the biggest rivalry in college football. You got to go beat Michigan. And so, honestly, we can jump into we'll hold off for a second, but we'll jump into Harbaugh returning to Michigan in a second. But Harbaugh returning to Michigan may be another sense of protection for Ryan Day. Because, look, Michigan's going to be really good next year. They return almost everybody. That's a Joe Moore offensive line, a back-to-back Joe Moore offensive line. They returned Blake Corum, shockingly enough.
Yeah.
J.J. McCarthy's got another year to improve.
I like that. That was good.
I think they could have put almost anybody in that job, and it'd be a fantastic job.
No doubt.
But with Harbaugh coming back, if Ryan Day were to lose that game again, people are going to be pissed off. But it's not losing to a first-year head coach and your division rival.
Yeah.
So that is another level of protection against Ryan Day. I think he's a very, very good coach. He's got to go win that game to get that monkey off his back.
Yeah, and he, I'm with you. And Stroud almost came back. We're going to talk about that in a minute. That would have been nuts.
Yeah.
I don't know if he almost came back. I think that was a little far.
He just waited till the last minute.
It looked like he was about to come back, which would have been nuts for Ryan Day. But yeah, I don't think he was leaning or anything. But yeah, man, this is another A+ for me.
Yeah,
which is kind of nuts. We've had some hires that have been, but these I think Petrino's definitely in the A range. I think both of these are A+.
I don't know if it's an A+ because he hasn't had an offensive coordinator job before.
I think that's fair,
but I think it is a very good hire.
I think
it made the most sense for Ohio State.
Right. I think at a school like Alabama or a school like any of the Michigan, for example, like run heavy school or even a school that kind of mixes in the run game, I'd be like, eh. But the thing is, with him being the passing game coordinator, him drawing up the route trees, him like he ran. I mean, as dumb as it sounds, he ran the passing game there.
Yeah.
Well, when you have Stroud and that kind of thing, and you're gonna have another 5-star quarterback coming in behind him, like my point is, he was as close to the offensive coordinator as he possibly could be.
Yeah.
Because like if you run the pass game and 80% of your plays are passes, you're kind of running the offense.
Yeah.
That's. Again, never been an OC. He's never called the plays. But I'm with you. So maybe I'll go A.
Yeah.
I think Garrett Riley's the A+.